Welcome back, everybody, to the St. Francis Hospital Cardiac Imaging Lecture Series. Today, we're going to talk about how to easily approach the Watchman procedure using transesophageal echo. We're going to break down transesophageal echo guidance in separate small steps and show how to easily provide guidance for the placement of the Watchman procedure. The Watchman procedure is heavily dependent on TE guidance, and there are many steps that can make it confusing and difficult to follow. However, we've broken down these steps in 10 small steps and are going to focus on each step and make it very easy to follow. The first step is to make sure that there isn't any thrombus in the left atrial appendage or anywhere else in the left atrium, because that would preclude the procedure. Furthermore, we next have to measure the maximum left atrial appendage orifice diameter to appropriately size the Watchman device. Simply, we measure the maximum left atrial appendage diameter at 45 degrees, starting from 0 to 135 degrees. Here, as we can see at 0 degrees, we look at the circumflex artery as our landmark and draw a line from here to the other wall of the left atrial appendage, and then draw a line further down to the longest axis. And this would be our 0 degree measurement. We do the same thing for the 45 degrees, and you can see our landmark is the left circumflex artery, and we go straight across and straight down. We continue with the same measurement at 90 degrees and at approximately 135 degrees. So this does not have to be exact. It has to be approximate, where you get better images. And you choose the largest diameter in order to size the Watchman device. So furthermore, we take a look at the interatrial septum, and we want to make sure that there are no aneurysms, which would make our transseptal more challenging. And also there are no PFOs, because we do not want the catheters to go through the PFOs. It would be the wrong location for the placement of the deployment catheter. The next major step is our transseptal punctures. And here we can see in this bicable view, here we have our superior vena cava, and here we have our inferior vena cava. And here we have an anterior aspect of the interatrial septum and the posterior aspect of the interatrial septum. So we want to aim to be inferior and posterior, because that is the orientation that would give us the maximum advantage for the catheter entering the left atrial appendage. So here we have to guide the interventionalist in order to find the optimal position. So we come inferior enough and away from the aorta in order to have optimal positioning. And as we can see here, we find the optimal position, and we see a catheter that's in here already. And what we should do is just measure the diameter of the catheter. The first sheath is going to be the small sheath, is around 4 millimeters, and is the small sheath. Wire is introduced, and then we have a larger sheath that's introduced, which is the deployment sheath. And how are we sure that we have the larger sheath? You can measure it, and that's approximately 6 millimeters. This way you don't get confused between the smaller and the larger sheath, because often there could be not optimal communication between the operators of the device and the echocardiographer. Furthermore, the next step would be to put the pigtail catheter and position the pigtail catheter inside the left atrial appendage, which we see here. And then finally orient ourselves to approximately 135 view, which is our deployment view. And please note here that our catheter can be seen, pigtail catheter, as 2 dots. And that's how we know we're in the left atrial appendage. Furthermore, the appendage is deployed. And the first thing we do, we want to see what the alignment is inside the orifice. And we want to measure a height. The height into the left atrium should not be more than 5 millimeters. And here we can see clearly it's a nice placement and it does not extend more than it should into the left atrium proper. Furthermore, what we want to do is a tug test. So the operator pulls on the device to make sure that it's hooked in nicely and will not easily dislodge. After we do that, we want to also check the height again to make sure it did not get dislodged. Then we measure the width of the device inside the left atrial appendage and determine the percent compression from the original size. And here it's important that we measure the largest portion of it. So we go from the largest waist to the largest waist, and very important to see this top point here. This ensures that we are on perfect axis with the center of the device, and we're not getting an off-axis view. And this will ensure that we have the maximum diameter. So we do the same thing as we did when we started. We measure at 45-degree intervals all the way up to 135 degrees. Thereafter, we make sure that there are no peri device leaks in multiple views, and we can see in this case that there are none. And then on 3D, we can further see that the device is placed very well and it's en face with the left atrial appendage and it's not slanted. Furthermore, we can confirm by 3D color that there are no peri device leaks. And finally, we must not forget to make sure that there are no pericardial effusions and that we have no perforations. I hope you found this very informative and very enjoyable. If so, like us and subscribe to our channel. Many more valuable videos are coming soon.